What's up, travelers? Welcome back to the pod. I am Pharaoh, and I am joined, as always, by Dalton.
Yo, 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 what's up?
Man, you sound good. You sound really good today for some reason. Yeah, you sound fantastic. We got a great show for you guys today. Thank you all for joining. We have first to go over a few reviews. Actually, one review. We're saving another one for next week because it's a very special review. And this one is marked by a Dark Age Angel. He calls it very good podcast, 5 stars.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, this is a very fun and enjoyable podcast to listen to while riding to school and working on things. The hosts are very fun and engaging. Of course we are. The content is very informative and interesting. The Discord is one of my favorite aspects of the community. Thanks for making my week a bit better every week. I can't ask for more than that, right?
No, absolutely not.
We do it good. Now, we're going to be getting into the news and everything like that in just a minute, but first, got to plug those socials. So, we have Twitter, @HoyoCast. Make sure to follow it there. Instagram, also @HoyoCast. And then we have the Discord, discord.me/The Resonance. Boom. I just did your job.
So the reason why we did this is because someone was like, oh, Pharaoh's yo, 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 what's up is on point every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, no, I'm gonna switch it up one of these weeks. I've been meaning to do this for like 2 weeks now.
I mean, it doesn't sound nearly as good as mine. It just doesn't.
You're right.
Mine is perfection.
You know, what you just did was basically just created more work for yourself. It just sounds so good that I can't take over again.
I think that's debatable. I host too many pods to ever want to host another pod again in my life. But yeah, so the grunt work goes back to you now. You're
okay,
welcome.
Fair enough. All right. Now that we got that out of the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure if did I miss anything on what you usually do for the, we usually do like what did you get up to and stuff this week? I missed that.
Yeah, we do a weekly breakdown. My week was good. Just I avoided my family like the plague because they are both sick. So I've just been
because you have the plague.
Yeah, now I am sick. So thankfully it's just like all nasally. I doubt you guys can hear it, but don't get COVID. It sucks. Mm-hmm. It destroys your insides, and I mean that by like it. Literally like weakens your immune system and just, yeah. My son has had 4 different viruses in the past 2 months. It's been hell.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just trying to survive at this point.
Yeah. I mean, so this is COVID again for you, is what you're saying?
No. I'm saying it all started with COVID, and then literally there has been no
because of your weakened immune system.
Yeah.
You got lots. Okay. I gotcha. But you don't have you or your son do not have long COVID or anything like that, right?
I don't think he has long COVID. I think I do, because I have been continuously sick since I've had COVID, and I've had this like underlying cough that just like won't go away. But
oof.
Yeah. Which
that's
is like
not good, because
when they
long
talk
COVID
about
is bad.
Yeah. But no, I'm good. I think I'm just still I haven't been told like, oh, hey, you have long COVID. But like, if I Google long COVID, I'm not saying I have it bad. There's definitely people who have it worse than I do.
I'm hoping you don't have long COVID, period.
I mean, yeah, that would be nice. But like,
don't leave me on the show.
There's so many things that I want to do with voiceover that I've just been holding off because I don't want to do something with voiceover that where I sound like crap. You know what I mean? So
right. And you don't want to destroy your voice in the process by forcing yourself to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel you.
Anyway. Alrighty. Let's jump into the news. This will be kind of a shorter episode, but we'll try to milk it out as much as we can. Yeah. Let's start with the new tool that Genshin Impact has added. Their lineup simulator is now available. In the lineup simulator, travelers can share their party composition, weapons, and artifacts that they use for those builds. They can also filter and view the lineups shared by other travelers based on their desired scenarios. So like Spiral Abyss, Domain Challenges, etc. I'm assuming that probably like World world exploration will be in there or something like that. I haven't had a chance to use this yet, but it looks like a good idea. It just looks like a team builder that you get to share with people.
Yeah. I think this is just kind of like they finally added something that everyone was trying to figure out a way to do anyways, or created worse versions of. So, I mean, this is good. It's definitely something that the community wanted and can use. So,
yep. I think this is great. I think probably the only thing that you could really do that's close to this is like literally to take a ton of screenshots or use Enka, which is that really nice format where you plug in like a bunch of screenshots and it automatically formats like the build for you.
Right.
I don't know if you ever use Enka.network or...
I haven't, but you've told me about it already.
Okay, yeah. And it pulls it right off of like your character profile where you choose like 8 characters. But it's nice that there's an official way to do it. And you can even add applicable scenarios like what weekly boss or a domain challenge or overworld bosses are good, like which teams that you use for those. But I mean, I don't know anybody who's literally changing up a team to take down an overworld boss unless it's like, but
yeah, unless you're dealing with someone like specifically for like resistance reasons or something, but even then the change is minor, but I will say like the way that like you always see it posted on Reddit is with just multiple screenshots pasted together. So this will definitely be nice because it'll clean that up a bit.
Overall, though, I think it's a cool tool. I don't know if I'm going to use it very much. Usually I just jump to YouTube and then I kind of have everything in memory. So I feel like if I am going to use it, it's going to be used sparingly. I feel like now, this is kind of, I don't know. It's cool. It's cool for new people who don't really understand teams and don't really already know like how the game's played and what characters do what well and what do they struggle with. So once you learn all that stuff, I feel like this is kind of like moot. You know what I mean?
I mean, yes, I definitely agree. Like if you are a hardcore player, then I think that the need for this is lessened 100%. But it is definitely going to be a useful tool. I think I'm glad that they added it. The only thing that I still want them to add, though, and I will say it again, just in case anyone's listening that works at Hoyo Lab, put the map, the detailed map, what is it called? The map program?
The interactive map.
Interactive map. Put the interactive map inside of the game, please. That's all I want. Please
or just
do that
link it. Like just make it sync. That's all I really care about.
Yeah. That's fine too. It's still not like, I still think that it's a tiny jump to just apply it in game. Like that doesn't make any sense to me that you can't do it in client, but whatever, at least make it sync. Like anything just to allow me to have it on my actual game, please.
Yeah. Because I feel like everybody would still use the map in the Hoyo Lab app because not everybody wants to log in to the game.
Right, just to check something or add something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, having a sync method would for sure at least allow them to keep up their engagement on Hoyo Lab while also keeping up the engagement on the game. So, yeah, fair enough.
All right, version 3.2 update to the Serenity Pot. They talk about the replication feature. This is coming in the update that literally, I think for us in the States, it comes out the day after this goes live.
Yep.
There are some criteria that you need to do to have this feature be unlocked for you. First, you need to unlock the Serenity Pot system. Imagine that.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then
what
you need
surprise.
I know. And then you need to complete the quest, A Teapot to Call Home Part 2. To get to this feature, you will then click the Adeptal Mirror button in the Serenity Pot, which is just the teapot icon. And then there you can make a replica in a designated area of the realm within, and you can share the corresponding replica ID with other travelers, which then they can basically generate. You can generate the replica, give them the replica ID, and then they can copy pasta basically, and then boom, you get some beautifully well done Serenity Teapot design that you didn't do, and now it's yours.
Yeah, I am. This is going to be my favorite feature because I've always wanted to deck out my teapot. Meanwhile, it's got 5 things floating around in it on every version. So this will allow me to finally just go copy and paste someone's amazing work and just put it in mine, because that's all I really want at the end of the day. I just want to show up and it be awesome. I'm not into putting the work into my basically lazy. Do an Animal Crossing game. I don't want to do it. I just want it to be really cool.
I feel like this is something that your wife would really like to do.
I think I had offered it to her, but honestly, she doesn't like, because it's quite a bit different than, I would say it's more sophisticated than and complex and convoluted, because there's also confusing, stupid parts of it too, than Animal Crossing. So I don't think that she cares to learn to do it in the end of the day.
Gotcha. Makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When a replica is generated from the outdoor layout, the scope of the generation includes all the furnishings in a single area. When a replica is generated from a layout inside the mansion, the scope of generation includes all the furnishings of every room in the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot exchange replica IDs from different servers, so just be aware of that. So if you like something that someone from, let's say, the Asia server made, can't use their replica ID. It needs to be in your server.
Mm-hmm.
You can disable the sharing permissions for specific replicas. So if you don't want one to be shareable, you want one to be shareable, you can do that. It does say the following criteria must be met in order to use a replica. You need to already have more than 90% of the replica's furnishings, and you must have the required furnishings of the current replica, which are specifically indicated in the list. So I guess you don't need every single item.
Yeah, that's a weird part, 90%. So can I just not finish all of them? Only pick up 90% and it will still furnish it? Or maybe it means that it will take 90% and so 10% of the smallest items, right? They're not going to actually include, but it will still generate it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, in the screenshot it shows the wider blocked foundation as not being in their inventory, but it's still meeting the 90% because it's at 93.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's already pieces of replicas that are already predetermined by the feature that are like, okay, well, you don't have the foundation and that's okay, but as long as you have the tree, the lantern, the house, like all that stuff, then it should be good. Maybe.
We'll have to see. Someone's going to push it to its limits and get back to us, I'm sure.
Yep. For visitors to the Serenity Teapot, you can adjust permissions in the replica interface to allow or forbid them from copying your Serenity Teapot's layout. The default user permission is set to forbid visitors from copying. So if you go in, you could potentially just be like, oh, hey, like go into my teapot, check it out, and if you want it, it's there. You actually don't have to like type it out. If it's shareable from the creator, you can just jump in their teapot, check it out. Yeah, I like it, and then take the replica ID right from the teapot. So that's nifty.
It's a nice feature, yeah.
All right. Nahida info and materials. We already know her voice actor is Kimberly Ann Campbell. We kind of already knew this from a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I mostly just cover this because it talks about some of her materials. So she's obviously taking the Dendro Amethyst crystals. I believe she's taking is that Nyloplata lotus? The blue lotus? I gotta check this out. Copalata lotuses. Yep. You'll need 168 of them, boys.
Nice. That'll be fun.
You will also need the crystalline cyst dust, which is the fungal spores and luminescent pollen. Those are the prerequisite materials for the lower levels. And then the boss is what boss is that? Is that the new one? Is that going to be the Dendro?
Oh, yeah, it might be.
I believe that's the Dendro Regis Vine.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, no. It's green, so I thought that it was the Regis-Fine, but
Dendrohypostasis.
Oh, dendrohypostasis. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Not Regis-Fine. Duh. Okay. So yeah, you're going to need the dendrohypostasis material, which will come with the update. Talent level up materials include the same crystalline cis dust and the ladder. There is a material that we don't know, but it's probably going to be the Scaramouche boss material.
Yeah.
Whichever one that is, we don't really know. I believe that's Ingenuity. Yeah, Philosophies of Ingenuity and the prior versions of that. So
Mm-hmm.
you guys want to farm up those materials to get your Nahida ready on day one, you can do that. Other than that, we pretty much already know her kit and whatnot. She's broken.
Definitely broken.
The giant Paimon balloon is here. This event duration goes from October 28th, so it's been going on for about 3 days now, and then it will end on November 3rd. This is in Palawan Beach at Sentosa, Singapore, and there is a giant Paimon balloon. You can go over there, take photos of that. You can have the opportunity to win Genshin Impact merchandise. If you're in Singapore, you can get there by Sentosa Express, by public bus, by beach shuttle, and the nearest car park is the Tanjong 1 car park. So,
if anyone from the Discord shows up and takes a picture, make sure to post it in the Discord if you want, because that would be awesome to see.
I agree. That would be pretty cool to see. Other than that, that's really all the smaller official news.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take a break. There's not a whole lot to talk about as far as like in-game events and stuff like that. So let's take a break. When we come back, we have 2 external news pieces to touch on, and then we'll wrap up the show. Back from our break. Now we're going to do 2 articles. The first one is off IGN. This one is titled, Microsoft reportedly regretted missing out on making Genshin Impact an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be pretty upset too if I missed out.
Yeah, I mean, it brought in Sony tons of money, and it's something that they can hold over the head of Xbox, so I'm not surprised by this one at all.
Yep. So
oh wow, it literally said picking up Genshin Impact made Sony a lot of money. I mean, like, we knew that, but it was almost the same exact wording as what I said. I didn't even read that line yet.
Oh yeah. The article. So yeah, this article basically is just pointing out how Microsoft and obviously Xbox are now basically trying to push to secure a lot more Chinese titles because of Genshin Impact's success with PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no secret that Genshin makes a ton of money.
Yeah.
But it is now well known that basically Microsoft is literally building a team specifically to scout out Chinese games and developers with high potential to basically be, their answer to Genshin Impact being a PlayStation exclusive.
Right, which means that we win in the end as consumers, because that will only create another game as good as Genshin in the long run. So I'm excited about that, honestly.
Yeah, and we're not talking about, like Tower Fantasy either. We're talking about something that is like officially like AAA titled, basically.
Mm-hmm. I would also say that it is a possibility that they might score an exclusivity mark on one of their future games, because I don't think that Sony has exclusivity on all of their upcoming titles.
Say that again?
So I think that Xbox might try to try to score exclusivity on one of their MiHoYo's, one of their upcoming titles. So Zenless Zone Zero or Honkai, what is it?
Star Rail?
Star Rail. There we go. So they might try to do that because I don't think that Sony has exclusive rights on all of MiHoYo games. I think it's just on Genshin, right?
Yeah, just Genshin. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox tried to pop in there and grab one of the other ones.
Yeah, I could see them taking Zone Zero. I doubt they'd get Honkai.
I don't know. Honkai, I feel like, has more long-term possibilities than Zenless.
I think Xbox is going to take whatever they can get. I think they kind of learn from their mistakes. So
True. We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, just, throwing that out there, I think it's good to note that, obviously that they know that Genshin's doing well. It wasn't this article off IGN, but I did read another article where they specifically mentioned some of the titles that, make Sony the most money. Genshin is one of them.
So yeah, I'm sure.
So, and that's I think is the point, right? It's
Microsoft
passed this up, and now they basically see that they did not do a good enough job in trying to secure it. So honestly, I can't see this game on Xbox anyway. It just doesn't seem like an Xbox game to me.
It definitely seems more like a Sony game. I think that's because, Sony has, Japanese tendencies versus, Microsoft, which is American tendencies. But I think that they screwed up by doing it, and Xbox has, especially recently, been in the habit of trying to kill off competition of Sony. So I think this is one thing that they sorely regret. So yeah, they're going to try to do everything in their power to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. All right, and then we have one more article. Genshin Impact developer Hoyoverse has suffered a massive data breach.
Mm-hmm.
This is off Eurogamer.net. Over the past weekend, huge batches of information were shared online that reveal details of new characters, quests, and events from version 3.3 all the way to 3.8. These have been proving quite the difficulty to avoid on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Basically, Christmas
everywhere.
Came early for me. So.
Yes, yeah. Obviously, I feel like I'm not saying anything significant when I say I got excited because I was spoiled inadvertently with some new characters or characters that we haven't seen yet, and their visions have already been announced. So, or not announced, but shown. Right. So, I don't know, just, still trying to hope that there is a light for Sino and some good Dendra application. Basically, this Hoyoverse has a DMCA striked post containing information about the breach. I mean, basically, this is really just for leakers. I mean, but this is, in the article, they even say this is an unprecedented amount of illegally dumped information.
Yeah.
This is 36 weeks, basically, of content. So, 6 months, that's huge.
Yeah, their security team, I'm sure, just got fired yesterday, and they have a whole new in-house team because I can't imagine how upset the execs are right now.
I can't imagine as much money as Genshin makes. Now, granted, I don't know why, in the show, we always use Pokemon as the example. But
Pokemon is always the example in life. So
True, very true.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Scarlet and Violet are just around the corner. We're a few days over 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
I'm so freaking excited, by the way. I cannot wait to play those freaking games. But Pokemon leaks usually happen around about 10 to 14 days before the release. Yeah. Content creators, news outlets, they get review copies of the games to play.
Exactly.
And then they report on them. And then usually, like I said, around 7 to 10 days is when it just takes one person to break street date. TPCI has done an extremely good job of putting their ban hammer down on people who release these leaks. I remember I think it was X and Y, or maybe it was Sun and Moon, but there was leaks for those games. Someone took a picture of the strategy guide.
Right.
That person was fired, and Prima lost their strategy guide deal with them, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was 2 leakers. They were fined like $60,000 or $70,000 for their leaks. And just like, I think it was yesterday or the day before, so it was either Friday or Saturday of this recording, that TPCI was already sending cease and desist letters to people, which just tells you, hey, the game is in the States. Like, the game is now local. It's at your local store already.
Right.
It has to be. And so, but that's basically them saying, hey, we need to do this. We need to put these cease and desist letters out because our game is out there now.
Mm-hmm.
But how does TPCI get this far with very minimal leaks?
Mm-hmm.
But Genshin just 6 months?
I think it's just the fact that they're being targeted probably by like very high-end hackers, I'd imagine.
You think so?
Because there's so much money involved, like more money, more problems, basically. Like in the game world, it definitely rings true. Like if you're a game that no one cares about, like nothing's probably going to happen to you. But the more clout you have, and especially if you're popular for making money, then based on, especially for gacha games, I couldn't even imagine actually, like this is probably why, because there's so much money in gacha game stuff that, and this is like the most popular gacha game that makes so much money. So yeah, I would assume that they're being targeted like crazy 24/7. And so, you know, a security team, like I said, I joked about earlier, like I bet they have a whole new security team. Like, I mean, I can't even imagine how much of their budget goes to security, because it's probably a ridiculous amount to try to keep in front of everything. So yeah.
I just can't see like how there are other, like how it gets that far. 6 months out?
They probably have it bottled up somewhere, and there's probably like, you know, safes that keep, you know, they keep it in safes, you know, but a lot of times like these things, they end up happening just from like the simplest thing that ends up infecting everything. So it's like someone opens an email, you know, and they manage to get core access somehow into every part of the system, and they have to have all this stuff bottled away somewhere. And once you have that, you know, that level of access, you can get to all of it extremely fast, especially if you have a whole team working on it.
Yeah.
So,
and I've studied cybersecurity a little bit.
Oh, so then yeah, you know better than anyone.
Yeah. So I know how it gets done, but I don't understand how they keep letting it happen, because this isn't the first time.
Yeah, I just think it's probably just an unprecedented level of attacks. Like I think it's more and more sophisticated every time, and just raw quantity of them. So it's either that, or they are just super bad at security and they don't have a good security team, and they aren't taking it very seriously. But considering how hard they drop the hammer on people, especially like I'm not even talking about how far they actually, like the people who leak stuff actually get, like, you know, the consequences of it legally, but like they want to go way further every single time than what ends up actually happening. They push for jail time, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
So it seems to me like they take it very seriously, so it has to be like a hardcore security team down there. I couldn't imagine it being anything other than that. Well, but yeah, it is nuts how much information is leaked constantly.
I think that this is the last straw. I think this is where they start to make some big changes.
Serious changes, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the money to like literally do something completely new that's what I'm talking about. Make people not even know where to look at that point.
That's my point. It's like to your point, like you said, oh, that they probably do this because there's gacha games have so much money involved in it. Well, yeah. Then you spend some of that money to protect yourself. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Wish of the week. I pulled Tanari C1 last week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
And then I think I did like one more 10 pull. So I think did I do a 10 pull? Maybe I saved. Yeah, I did another 23. So I'm at 23 pity. I'm going to do one pull just because I'm saving for Nahida pulls for the first.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys want to check that out, by the way, jump in our Discord, discord.me/the resonance. I'm only going to spend like a little bit of money, not going hard like I did for Sino.
Yeah. Oh, what are you pulling on now?
Just the limited banner. I'm not gonna.
Okay.
This is a guarantee, but I doubt if I get it, I will be super surprised. I will have Nahida no matter what. I'm just saying, like,
right.
23 pity. I'm not gonna get anything.
Not worried.
Yeah. But yeah. So discord.me/the resonance. We're gonna be doing Nahida pulls. I'm gonna be doing my weeklies, and then I'm gonna be running domain runs with the community and whatnot, whatever you guys need, or helping everybody do boss runs, because we're not getting a new area, so
right.
It's going to be very Archon story quest heavy. So, all right, I'm going to start off one pull, not doing any more. I'm saving my pulls for stream. Just a blue. I'm going to call Cool Steel. Cool Steel. Oh, I got it. Cool Steel. Look at that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nailed it. Okay. All right, hold on. I'm pulling unlimited too because I pulled like a few more, but I'm at, I think last week I was at like 2022 or something like that.
Oh, okay, we're right there.
Yeah, we're on the same scenario here. So,
are you on a guarantee?
I am on a guaranteed right now. Yes.
Cool.
All right, here we go. And blue. Yippity doo.
Let me guess. It's a Thrilling Tales.
No.
Oh.
Keep guessing.
Cool Steel?
No. You got one more guess.
Harbinger of Dawn.
Hey.
Look
at that. I did not think you were going to get it.
I would have ran out of 3 stars to name. I think like one of them is Blood Tainted Greatsword, and that's like the only one. Or maybe Slingshot too. Dang, I do know a lot. All right, that's it. All right. Question of the week. I went through and pruned this whole channel to make it a little bit easier.
Oh man, the work involved there. Jeez.
Oh, it was a lot of clicking.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with this one. I'm not going in any order. I think this next month's worth of episodes for the show will probably be not as drawn out because we've had a lot of content with like the short 5-week updates, and now we're going back to 6 weeks. So we'll probably have a lot less to talk about in the coming weeks. So we'll probably do a little bit more of these questions of the week going forward. But this week's question of the week is by DJ in our Discord. Which character talents do you think are crown worthy? And now let's not go like into every character, but let's talk about some of them. Some of our favorites. You want me to go first?
Yeah, if you want.
I'm going to just start by saying there's a few that are just absolutely great to triple crown. I'll start there.
And
there's a few. Number one, I think Xiao is just easily you can triple crown Xiao and get a lot out of him. You want to crown his normal attack and his burst because you are essentially bursting and then normal attacking up and down. So jump, normal attack, and plunging basically, and you're plunging as much as possible. And with Xiao, if you're on top of the enemy, and I'm not even talking about like, because he does a little bit of like AoE damage if you're not like right on top of the enemy, but if you are like on top of him, you're doing a little bit more. The big thing with Xiao is you don't generate energy particles while you're inside of your burst. So with your rotation, you want to spam the skill and then go right into your burst immediately, so that when you do the skill, you're not in your burst, so you get those particles, and they're already like kind of floating in the air. But by the time you go into your burst, those particles are there, so they're coming to you anyway. So you do get them if you do the skill right before you do the burst. But the skill damage is like almost 300%, and you get 2. So it's like 300% of damage from the skill right before your burst. And it's like, not like, I don't want to say it's necessary to do the skill right before the burst, but you might as well. So
right.
I think triple crowning Xiao is a really good idea, and Ito is another good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ito 100%.
All right, so why don't you talk about Ito?
Well, basically, for Ito's, I mean, you get so much. Well, I don't have the game. Let me pull up the game back up real quick.
You can, if you want, talk about the normal attack and the burst, because I'm pretty sure that's the biggest part. But I think with Ito, it's the one that's questionable or last on the talent priority list is the bull. But
yeah,
the
you don't
bull
need to
does
the bull one.
But the bull is just insane.
I mean, he's the bull.
Yeah. Ushi's his name.
That's right. I love that they actually brought him into the other one, by the way, or into the actual game, by the way.
Oh yeah, I know. So good.
Well, basically, I mean, first of all, his auto attack is important because your autos are like your main thing. So if he's your main DPS character, you definitely want to crown him because he's going to be doing more damage on his autos. So that's, just good, obviously. For sure, his ultimate, I mean, for the same reasons, you're going to be having the increased damage scaling because you get more of the defense, right?
Yep.
Pulled off. So, that always helps a bunch. This is the thing with this question is that it's so subjective to whoever you're using. Like, because whenever it comes to your main DPS character, like you're gonna want to crown their, probably at least 2 out of their 3 abilities. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because always one character, or I mean, usually always one ability is kind of like the, I don't really need this ability to make things happen. So
right.
Whenever it comes to your main DPS, yeah, like you always want to increase the ones that make the most sense with your character. I think that I think probably the best ones to go off of are some of the 4-star characters, just because, well, no, I'm thinking like characters that are ubiquitous that everyone likes to use. So for another good one was probably be the shield for Zhongli.
Yeah.
Like, that thing is a monster. Getting that thing up as high as possible is always a good thing. So I would definitely go that route. Bennett, well, you don't want to crown. Well, yeah. So Bennett, you can crown Bennett for sure on his fantastic voyage, because that's just an amazing ability, potentially the best ability in the entire game. So that's a good one. What are some other really good ones? Pyronado with from what's her face, Zhanglang.
Yep.
Yeah. That one's a really good one because it's a fantastic ability that's very free to play, friendly as a character itself. Great for reactions. What's her name? the names are the hardest part. What's her name? Water Sword Girl.
Water Sword.
Water Sword Girl. Huh?
Boy,
yes.
I can't believe we're 30 episodes in and we're still doing this.
We're back to that.
Xingqiu, yeah.
Xingqiu, that's right. Okay, so him, you want to go ahead and upgrade. You could honestly do, besides his auto, like both his other 2 abilities are honestly worthy of crowning, because they're both fantastic, and you're going to be spamming them whenever they're in your party. So that's a really good one. What are some other ones? Raiden Shogun's ult. I forgot what the name of it is. Do you remember offhand?
You're talking about her burst?
Yeah, her burst.
Yeah, her burst is the Muso Shinsetsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one's a fantastic one. Once again, you want her as, main DPS if you're going to do that, but that one's a amazing one. What are some other ubiquitous characters that you can think of with great abilities?
If you use Mona or have her, and I know I'm a Mona simp, so I get it, but her ult does a whopping, at level 10, does a whopping 796% of damage when the bubble explodes. True. So I've hit like over 350,000 K of damage with Mona. So that's a good one. And that's one that like you don't need to crown her skill or her normal attacks if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfectly viable to just do her burst and that's it. So you're saving yourself a lot of resources while still having like the character do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
4 stars.
Amber, of course, put everything on her, everything that you possibly can.
Don't listen to him. Don't do it.
Aloy, fantastic option for everything as well.
Chi-Chi. Use all your intertwined fates, or use all your fates that you can and all your Prima Gems on the standard banner to C6 her. And only crown her normal attack.
That's right. Man, that is the worst. There should be a point where we should say, and from here forward, never listen to anything we say.
Yeah. A good rule of thumb with crowning any character is, if you are using the character for a main DPS, because I want to wrap this up. If you want to use a main DPS character, generally you're probably going to keep them on the field for a little bit longer than your other 3 characters, and you're going to be using their normal attacks, so you're going to want to crown those.
Yeah.
Sometimes the character's burst or their skill will infuse their normal attacks with some form of element, so you could do that as well. But for characters who are sub DPS or just there for support, like crowd control, like Venti, that would be his burst, or I'm trying to think of like a skill. An off-field DPS would maybe be like a skill or a burst, generally not their auto attack. And that's pretty much like a good rule of thumb that you can go off of. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that, the only time whenever you would have a character specifically put on your team, that you wouldn't want to, like, necessarily max out their ability is if it's, like, maybe CC related, and it's purely just for the CC, not for any other effect on the ability. But yeah, like, for the most part, it really just depends on whatever your comp is, and then the core abilities that you're using each character for in your comp. So it's super, super subjective.
Yep. Good question, though, because I'm sure people definitely wonder what.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's the biggest thing. I think tons of people have that question of what should I crown? And that's the thing, is that the answer is not a simple answer at all. It's really specific to you. So, yeah, like people do need to know that there is no, because I bet if you go online, like, there's probably like 50,000 lists that say this is the best one to do. But a lot of those characters probably won't even be relevant to you. So,
yep. Unless you want to flex, and that's pretty much, that's your choice.
Truth. But if you're at that level at that point, you should probably already know who to crown and why.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we wrap up the show, still want to give our patrons their shout out. Thank you to our Favonius Knight tier patron, Soupy, for supporting this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The Favonius Knights definitely appreciate your contributions. And thank you to our Adeptus tier, Neku. Zhongli definitely appreciates your sacrifice as an Adeptus in supporting this show. So thank you. That's it. When we come back, we'll have Nahida. We'll have some Nahida story quest. We'll have a new Scaramouche boss. We'll have a lot of good stuff to touch on. We're not going to touch on story spoilers in the first week. We'll probably just do...
Yeah, definitely not, actually.
Review stuff and questions of the week, probably, and just give our initial thoughts on maybe the Scaramouche boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we'll probably talk about it, but in very vague generalities. Like, I don't think we're getting into specifics at all in the first week.
Yep. All right, Farrah, where can they find you?
Find me in all the usual places. You can find me, on our Discord here, of course. Then you can find me on the Chronicles of Runeterra podcast. We're talking about everything about Arcane. And then you can find me on the Directive Discord, discord.me/the Directive. And yeah.
Sweet deal. Farrah already plugged our socials, but I'll plug them here anyway. Everything's at HoyoCast. Instagram, HoyoLab, Twitter. You can go anywhere over there, find some content on HoyoLab. I usually post screenshots and funny blurbs and stuff like that on HoyoLab. Twitter and Instagram, usually just my thoughts and some stuff that we're doing in the Discord. I got to post podcast memes on the Instagram, so I'll start doing that. If you want to join the community, discord.me/The Resonance. Other than that, this has been another episode of The Resonance. We'll see you guys next week.